Knowledge paper, Regenerative Metabolic Health Through the Lens of Paedar Qudratti Nizam Kashatqari, PQNK. A systemic analysis of blood sugar dysregulation, its root causes, and a path to sustainable remission through the principles of regenerative organic farming. Executive Summary. This paper posits that the prevailing model of understanding and treating blood sugar dysregulation, insulin resistance, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes, is fundamentally flawed. It operates on a mechanical, break-fix paradigm that is unsustainable and superficial. By applying the principles of Paedar Qudratti Nizam Kashatqari, PQNK, the regenerative and sustainable pristine organic farming system, we can reconceptualize the human body as a complex ecosystem. From this vantage point, high blood sugar is not a disease to be suppressed with pharmaceutical pesticides, but a symptom of a deeper, systemic failure of the body's internal soil health. The path to true health is not through stricter control and management, but through active regeneration of the cellular and metabolic terrain. (1) Introduction: The failure of the conventional model. The conventional medical model views the body as a machine. In this model, high blood sugar is a broken component, a faulty glucose thermostat. The solution is to add external chemicals, medications, to force the component to function correctly. This approach, while life-saving in acute scenarios, fails to address the underlying cause and often creates a dependency, treating the number on a meter while the patient's overall health continues to decline. The PQNK lens offers a radical alternative. It draws a direct parallel between a thriving, sovereign farm and a thriving, sovereign human body. Both are complex, self-organizing systems that, when provided with the right conditions, possess an innate ability to self-regulate and heal. (2) The PQNK analogy: the body is an ecosystem. PQNK farm element. Human body corollary function. The soil, the inner terrain, gut microbiome, liver health, cellular milieu. The foundation of all life. Determines nutrient availability, waste removal, and overall resilience. The seed, our genetic and epigenetic blueprint. The potential for life. Its expression depends entirely on the quality of the soil. Rain, the hormonal system, e.g., insulin. A natural, life-giving force that should arrive in harmony with the needs of the ecosystem. Pests and weeds, symptoms like high blood sugar, inflammation. Not the primary problem, but indicators of an imbalanced, weakened ecosystem. Chemical pesticides, pharmaceutical drugs, metformin, insulin, etc. A toxic, short-term suppression of symptoms that further harms the soil and creates dependency. The farmer, the conscious self. The steward responsible for nurturing the system back to balance through wisdom and care. In a PQNK system, the goal is not to wage war on pests, but to create a system so healthy and resilient that pests cannot gain a foothold. Similarly, the goal for metabolic health is not to wage war on blood sugar, but to create a body so healthy that it naturally regulates its own energy with ease. (3) The true root of blood sugar dysregulation: a degraded inner terrain. Through the PQNK lens, insulin resistance is not a mysterious defect. It is the logical adaptation of cells living in a toxic, nutrient-poor environment. The cell membrane, the topsoil of the cell, becomes damaged and impermeable. The primary causes of this degradation are 3.1. The fake rain and acid rain, dietary assaults. Industrial seed oils, the acid rain, oils like soybean, corn, canola, and sunflower are high in unstable, pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. When incorporated into cell membranes, they create a brittle, inflamed structure that disrupts insulin signaling. They are a corrosive force on the cellular topsoil. Refined carbohydrates and sugars, the monsoon, Constant flooding with high glycemic carbohydrates forces the pancreas to deluge the system with insulin. This incessant monsoon erodes the insulin receptors, the soil's ability to absorb water, leading to runoff high blood sugar. Nutrient-poor food, the depleted soil. Modern agriculture produces food that is calorically rich but micronutrient poor. We are eating empty harvests. Key minerals for insulin function, like magnesium, chromium, and zinc, are absent, leaving the body's metabolic enzymes unable to function correctly. (3.2) Toxin overload, the chemical fallout. Endocrine disruptors, substances like bisphenol A, BPA, in plastics, phthalates, and pesticides are false keys. They mimic hormones in the body, binding to insulin receptors and blocking the actual insulin, directly contributing to resistance. Environmental toxins, persistent organic pollutants, POPs, and heavy metals accumulate in the body's fat tissues and liver, creating a constant, low-grade inflammatory state that poisons the metabolic well. 3.3. The scarred field, epigenetics and metabolic memory. An individual may be doing everything right today, but their metabolic field may be scarred from decades of prior abuse, a sugary childhood, chronic dieting, or unaddressed trauma. This metabolic scarring sets the body's set point at a conservative, insulin-resistant state, much like a field that has been compacted by heavy machinery. It requires deep, sustained regeneration to restore friability. (4) The paradox of the perfect patient, why discipline alone fails. When an individual adhering to a strict regimen of diet and exercise still struggles with blood sugar, the conventional model blames the patient or the incurable nature of the disease. The PQNK lens reveals the deeper truth. They are following the wrong map. The standard balanced diet often still includes the acid rain, seed oils, and depleted food, non-organic, conventionally grown produce. They are diligently farming, but with poisoned water and sterile seeds. The body is guarding against a perceived famine. The body is an intelligent ecosystem. If it perceives a constant threat, from chronic stress, nutrient deficiency, or inflammation, it will intentionally maintain higher blood sugar as a survival fuel for a perceived crisis. Lowering blood sugar pharmacologically in this context is like fighting the body's own wisdom. The focus is on the weed, not the soil. The individual is counting carbohydrates, the weed, but not addressing the inflamed gut, fatty liver, and toxic burden, the soil condition, that allows the weed to thrive. (5) The pharmaceutical industry, the agribusiness of health. The PQNK lens provides a stark critique of the modern medical-industrial complex. The pesticide business model, pharmaceutical interventions for type 2 diabetes are designed to suppress a symptom, high blood sugar, much like a glyphosate-based herbicide is designed to kill a weed. Both are highly effective at their narrow task but do nothing to restore the health of the underlying system. In fact, they often damage it further, e.g., metformin's impact on mitochondrial function in the gut microbiome. Creating dependency through land grabbing, lowering the diagnostic thresholds for prediabetes and diabetes is a form of medical enclosure. It transforms a state of declining metabolic health into a labeled disease, creating millions of new, lifelong customers for the pesticide industry. A patient in remission who no longer needs medication is a lost revenue stream. The illusion of control. This system offers the illusion of control through numbers and prescriptions, while systematically stripping the individual of true sovereignty over their health. The farmer becomes a tenant on land owned by agribusiness, dependent on their patented seeds and sprays. (6) The PQNK path to sovereign metabolic health. Healing is not about finding a better drug. It is about becoming a better steward of your inner ecosystem. The following principles guide the way. 1. Regenerate the soil, the inner terrain. Prioritize organic and regenerative foods. Consume food grown in rich, living soil. This ensures a high density of minerals and phytonutrients necessary for metabolic enzymes. Inoculate with probiotics, consume fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, daily to build a diverse and resilient gut microbiome, the very foundation of the soil. Fast intermittently, practice time-restricted eating, e.g., a 14 to 16-hour daily fast. This gives the pancreas a rest, reduces the insulin monsoon, and triggers autophagy, the body's internal housekeeping process that cleans out cellular debris. Purge the fake rain, a guide to fats and oils. The goal is to eliminate the processed, inflammatory acid rain and replace it with the stable, natural rains that nourish the cellular ecosystem. The purge list: eliminate these industrial seed oils. These are highly processed, high in pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, and often derived from genetically modified crops. They are unstable and damage the soil of your body. Soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, cottonseed oil, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil. Where they hide, check labels meticulously. They are the primary ingredient in most processed foods, including salad dressings, mayonnaise, chips, crackers, cookies, and fried foods from restaurants. The replenishment list: embrace these stable, traditional fats. These fats are stable, less prone to oxidation, and have been used for centuries by healthy populations. They help build strong, resilient cell membranes. For high heat cooking, searing, frying, sautéing. Ghee, clarified butter, excellent choice. High smoke point, rich flavor, and the milk solids have been removed. Butter, best for medium heat cooking. Adds wonderful flavor. Coconut oil, very stable at high heat. Imparts a mild, sweet flavor. Animal fats. Beef tallow, fantastic for high heat cooking. Rendered beef fat. Duck fat, incredibly flavorful for roasting vegetables and cooking meats. Avocado oil, as you correctly pointed out, this is a superb option. It has a very high smoke point and a neutral flavor, making it extremely versatile for all types of high heat cooking. For low heat cooking and raw applications, dressings, drizzling. Extra virgin olive oil, EVOO, a cornerstone of health. Rich in antioxidants. Used for light sautéing, making dressings, or drizzling over finished dishes. Keep it away from high heat to preserve its beneficial compounds. Avocado oil also works beautifully here due to its mild flavor. Sesame oil, unrefined, best used raw or added at the end of cooking for flavor, especially in Asian cuisine. Nut oils, walnut, almond, delicate and flavorful, use exclusively raw in dressings. The PQNK rationale: why this swap is non-negotiable. This is not just a cosmetic change, it is a fundamental step in regenerating your inner terrain. Reduces inflammatory acid rain. Industrial seed oils are the primary source of excess omega-6 in the modern diet. By purging them, you dramatically lower the inflammatory load that directly rusts your insulin receptors. Builds resilient cell membranes. Your cells are surrounded by a lipid, fat, bilayer. When you consume stable, saturated and monounsaturated fats, like ghee, coconut, and avocado oil, you build strong, flexible cell walls. When you consume fragile, polyunsaturated seed oils, you create brittle, inflamed cell walls that have trouble communicating, a primary cause of insulin resistance. Supports liver health. Your liver is the body's primary detoxification organ. Removing the toxic burden of processed oils allows it to function more effectively in regulating metabolism and blood sugar. In summary, your inclusion of avocado oil is perfect. It is a modern, accessible fat that perfectly fits the ancient, pristine principles of the PQNK system. This swap is one of the most powerful actions you can take to restore your metabolic ecosystem. Plant the right seeds. Nutrient density. Embrace a soil-based diet. Build your diet around the most nutrient-dense foods: pastured eggs and meat, wild-caught fish, organ meats, leafy greens, and low-sugar fruits like berries. Ensure a deplete protein. Prioritize high-quality protein with every meal to provide stable energy and building blocks for cellular repair. Manage the farm's health, not just the weeds. Detoxify the environment. Drink filtered water, store food in glass, use natural personal care and cleaning products, and prioritize clean air. Cultivate deep peace. Move beyond stress management to active cultivation of parasympathetic nervous system dominance, rest and digest. This includes meditation, forest bathing, prayer, and connection with community. It is the antidote to the metabolic famine signal of chronic stress. Seven. Conclusion: from patient to sovereign steward. The PQNK lens offers a hopeful, empowering, and fundamentally different narrative. It tells us that the body is not a broken machine to be controlled by external chemicals, but a living, breathing ecosystem that yearns for balance. High blood sugar is a message, a signal that the inner terrain is crying out for regeneration. To answer this call with a drug is to silence the messenger. To answer it with the principles of PQNK is to listen deeply and begin the sacred work of rebuilding the soil. The path forward is not through greater dependency on a system that profits from our sickness, but through reclaiming our role as sovereign stewards of our own health. It is a return to the understanding that true health, like a pristine, self-sustaining farm, is our natural birthright. Disclaimer: this paper is a conceptual framework based on the PQNK lens. It is intended for educational purposes and should not be construed as direct medical advice. Individuals with health conditions should consult with healthcare professionals knowledgeable in both conventional and functional/regenerative medicine. Any production process that inundates soil with water, disturbs soil through tillage, or leaves soil bare without organic mulch cover does not qualify as natural ecosystem science for production agriculture, PQNK, picnic.